Harry from Canterbury wants to know whether any of us have ever had any cruel nicknames. He claims that he's quite tall and rather hirsute, and he says he's often called Lurch or Wolfie. He's always thought that Carl looks a bit like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. No, there's no potato that round, but I suppose you could fashion a potato to be that round.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, if anyone can carve a potato into the roundest head ever, pop a couple of eyes on it.
Make it look as much like Carl as possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, any nicknames? Did you ever have a nickname, Rick?
No, mine was boring. I didn't have any. It was just around the name, like Gerv or something like that. No, I didn't have nicknames.
I always wanted a nickname. I just thought it was quite cool for some reason, particularly because gangsters always seem to have nicknames.
Lefty.
You know, Fingers.
Yeah.
Lefty, yeah. Scarface.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I thought, because no one was giving me a nickname at school, it was kind of annoying, well certainly not to my face, that I decided to just come up with one. Yeah. And so I remember I was at lunch once, and I just said to my mate Phil.
How old were you?
12, 13.
Brilliant.
I just said to him, Phil, don't know if you know, mate, but, people aren't calling me Steve anymore. Everyone's calling me Spud now. Now, I don't know why I thought Spud, it's weird we should talk about Mr. Potato Head. I don't know why I thought Spud was a cool nickname. I think
it's a grown-up name though, isn't it?
And it's also because I think it sounded like, it was probably either something that you'd find in one of those kids' books, like the Famous Five, or like the Bash Street Kids, there'd be Spud. And I always imagine with Spud, he's not the leader of the gang, but he's a reliable member.
I think Spud is the biggest lorry driver in one particular sort of car park. Yeah. And here comes Spud.
Yeah.
And he gets out, alright boys, and he's big and massive, and Spud can eat 2 breakfasts.
Exactly, yeah. But in my mind it was, that I would be one day part of a gang, and I'm Pinky, this is Jojo, and the tall guy's Spud.
And it didn't catch on,
did it? Never really caught. And he just went, oh yeah, right. And no one started, and I was hoping he'd go, everyone's calling Steve Spud.
Yeah.
But of course.
Hey Spud, the first time I said Spud, you go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be really proud, wouldn't you?
But I think that it kind of, actually in a way, it probably revealed that I just was probably not in people's thoughts enough to get for the nickname to catch on, because you sort of need to be a real player in the school.
I think you should have gone something more memorable. I mean, I'm not saying a goggle-eyed freak or anything.
What?
No, just...
well, no, that's good advice, Fatty. Fatty Potbelly.
That's the problem, I wasn't fat at school, and I suppose Carl didn't have a round bald head at school, did you?
No.
No.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I mean, there was a lot of people on the estate that I grew up on. Nicknames are big things on estates and that.
Yeah.
A lot of my dad's mates, right? What their nicknames did was tell you about them. Do you know how I said about the Elephant Man's a good name?
Yeah.
Because, you know what you're going to get. If someone said, Elephant Man's popping round in a bit, it wouldn't be a shock when he walked in.
Yeah.
Right? So it worked in that sort of thing. So there was John the Screw, right? John the Screw? Yeah.
Well, he had sex a lot, or he worked in a prison?
No, he had a DIY shop. So you had him, right? There was Fred the Veg.
Yeah.
Which is...
I assume it's because he was at the same IQ as you.
Yeah. Or he was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right.
There was my uncle, Tattoo Stan.
All right.
Yeah. He had like loads of tattoos that he'd just done himself.
Oh my God.
The problem was, because he did his tattoos himself, the ones on his left arm were really good. Because he was right-handed. On his right hand, rubbish. Right? So there was him.
Great.
And there was Jimmy the Hat.
Jimmy the Hat?
Yeah.
Did he always wear a hat?
No, he didn't. That was the point there. That he never wore a hat.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
How can you pick up on someone never wearing a hat? How would you ever notice? I'll tell you what, I've noticed something about Jimmy. What?
Go on.
He doesn't wear a hat. Why was he not called Jimmy the Parrot? Because he never carries a parrot.
No, that's just the way, I mean, that's how they work in it.
Here comes Jimmy Three Legs. Why'd you call him that? He hasn't got 3 legs.
I didn't really have one apart from, I had a CB. Like when you'd go on a CB radio and have a chat to people.
Oh, this was a craze in the, was it late 70s, early 80s?
Early 80s.
And, it was just short band radio, wasn't it? Everyone had these little handsets and they'd speak to each other in the sort of local area.
Yeah, it was mainly, I think it started off with like
lorry drivers, isn't it? Yeah, truckers, yeah, because there was that thing from like about 1977, whatever it was, Convoy, yeah.
Yeah, so I had one of them, and my handle, I had 2
handle
different names.
Is your nickname, your
name?
Yeah,
there's loads of code stuff.
Yeah.
I had a couple. I had, there was Pilky01. Because,
Right.
like I say, there's a lot of Pilkingtons and that in Manchester, so I just thought, give it a number. If someone wants Pilky 02, it's open. Do you know what I mean? They can have it. And then,
Like it's people scrabbling. I want a Pilky one.
and then, because I did boxing and that,
Well, you did it once.
Yeah.
well, I'd Boxer Boy. Because I thought that's quite a good image as well. That's kind of like people going, oh, don't mess with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he asks what your handle is, tell him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Boxer Boy in that.
Yeah.
So, just had them two, and I used to just go on there and...
Pointless. What is the point of this?
Well, you just meet people, don't you?
And you
So-
don't meet people. You say, "What's your handle?" You go, "Box Boy." What's yours? Rubber duck. All right. Cheers.
No,
It's
but
ridiculous.
then you'll say, like, then you go, oh, what's your 20?
What's that mean?
That's, where are you?
Well, why don't you say, "Where are you?"
Because just in case there's someone who's listening in who you know, you hear about this all the time, don't you? People listening, jotting stuff down.
Oh, right. So, just in case someone in the world doesn't know what handle means, they're out of the loop. They're out of the loop.
It's not a difficult code to crack, is it? If
Yeah.
you're trying to track someone.
It's hardly the head of the mafia talking to each other because the FBI are on the wire. It's ridiculous. Like, I go, oh, he keeps saying that, what's your handle? And they come back with something else. I can't work out what's going on.
No, it's like anything, isn't it? That's what codes are all about, isn't it? You set them up and that.
Go on, and tell me the code then.
Reveal at long last to the world what
Yeah.
these codes are.
Right, so
Yeah.
what's your 20? Where are you?
This is better than the Enigma.
Yeah.
Right, now here we go.
Right.
How many candles are you burning?
Does that mean how big's your car or something like that? Horsepower or something?
See? No, that's
Oh,
how old are
what
you?
time is it?
No, how old are you?
How old are you? Okay.
Right.
Right.
How many candles are you burning, of course?
Yeah.
So what's the answer come back?
You go,
I'm 15.
14.
Brilliant. That code, there's no one gonna work that out. There is no one gonna work that one out.
So let's just play through this conversation. Give us an example of how it worked.
Right, so you turn it on and that, and you start off, and there was something that you said at the start, like
Hello.
just do you
Breaker.
yeah, breaker, do you copy or whatever?
Yeah.
Then someone will go,
What does
yeah,
copy mean?
No,
What his name
I want
was.
to hear because I want to hear the fascinating conversations that Carl must have had.
Yeah.
and you go, all right, it's Boxer Boy, yeah.
What's
He
your
goes,
20?
What's your 20? And you go, well, just I'm in Manchester.
In the flat.
Oh, right.
And they go, all right, yeah. How many candles are you burning?
Oh.
You go, oh, I'm 13.
Oh.
So
And that's the end, is it?
then you might sort of say what was it? It was something like what am I burning? Right?
Using burning again.
Confusing, but go on, yeah. What am I burning? The bacon, because I'm busy talking to you, you twat.
That's like what's my power? What strength am I coming in at?
Oh, yeah.
Because then you can tell if they're quite close to you. So if you're
Yeah.
getting someone burning a 1,
Well, you've told them. You said, wait, what's your 20? You go, I'm in Macclesfield Street.
Yeah, but
All
then-
right.
but then you
Wonder
go-
where they are. We've just told you. Wonder how far away they are.
but then you go, oh, that's interesting because you're burning, burning 3. I don't normally get a 3.
The least interesting hobby
Oh,
you
do you know
could
what I-
ever do.
I wish you'd have kept a diary of this, because this has been fascinating.
Now and again, someone will come in and go side on, right?
What's that mean?
And that means like there's someone sat there listening into this
Ooh.
chat and going, "This sounds interesting,"
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
and they want to join in, so they sort of go side on. You go side on, bring it in, right? And they go, "All right."
How many candles are you burning?
Yeah. What's your
That's
20?
it goes round again.
Yeah.
See you later. What's your 20? How many candles are you burning?
Oh.
And, I mean, it seems to me that what you should have done is made a note the first time, so that when you then speak to them again, you don't need to ask them those questions. Can I just confirm that you're burning 15? It's that time again. Do the jingle.
Oh, monkey you! Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna do a really good one.
Okay, go.
Oh, chimpanzee that! Monkey news, you fucking...
Right, do you know it's nearly time for the Winter Olympics again?
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
They sort of come round every 4 years.
Is it this year, is it?
Yeah, and the last one that happened,
4 years ago. Yeah.
there was a bit of an incident.
Oh no.
Oh, well, I'd know about this then, because it would be
Well, it'd be
Well-
big news because it's a well-known.
televised as
event.
well.
Yeah.
It's,
Do you remember any winners that were monkeys in any of the
no,
tournaments?
of course
No,
not.
No.
So,
Yeah.
it's
So
not
anyway-
going to be that, because it wouldn't be true. Go on.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the popular events, bobsleigh.
Okay. Right.
You know, you know how it works.
Well, you
It's
need
like a
4
sleigh.
men. Is it 4 men or 5
4
men?
men,
It's
yeah.
4. So it's definitely 4 men that you need
Needs
on a
4
bobsleigh
men.
team.
Is it? And there's 2 team bobsleighs.
But they're always men. Is that right, Rick?
well, yeah, they have to be.
Anyway,
Human-
so
humans.
Well, that's be humans. Yeah, it's the
okay.
Winter Olympics for.
Yeah. So just clarify with the Winter Olympics, you can't have any animals taking part.
No, and also, well, no, because they wouldn't be allowed. And 2, there's no way they could disguise it because not only would they see it straight away, right, but they have blood tests
Right. Okay. So
which would show up.
so they definitely know if it was
Well, they have
any
blood
kind of
tests.
non-human.
It's impossible. It would be literally impossible to have anything other than a human
Taking
involved
part.
in a bobsleigh team.
Fine. Okay. So carry on.
So anyway, this country, I don't want to name them because they try to shake off this sort of, you know, this bad news.
Oh yeah, and you don't know.
And
It's
it
not
didn't
true.
happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, the country was doing really well in the qualifying stages.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem was there was like 2 members
Mm.
who were getting all like the press and stuff,
Oh right, yeah.
and one of them never got a look in. Right.
How tall was he?
Anyway, so this one member was getting fed up because the other 2 were getting all the press and what have you. So he said, "I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
I'm jacking it in." So they were like, "You're joking? We've qualified. We're getting into like the main race and everything. You can't leave us now." And he said, "Well, you could do it all on your own before. You know, the way you were acting and that, you didn't need me, so I'm going." So they were like, "Oh."
Well, they need to replace him because there's a certain amount of people needed.
So anyway, so the clock's ticking. It's getting close to the big race and
Of
everything.
course it is. Yeah.
They're like, "What are we going to do here?"
The substitute
Right?
they took with them.
What are they
Well,
going
they
to
must
do?
have.
Yeah, they would take the substitute. So get him
No,
on.
they didn't have any of them and that. It's,
What-
you know, a lot of injuries and stuff.
Or just get a mate to do it. Just get a mate or a friend
Yeah,
or
mate,
the coach to do it. Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of responsibility on these people and, you know, you won't want to let your country down and that. And they're like, what are we going to do?
Get a waiter or anyone. In the
Anyway,
hotel.
the time comes for the race. Seems to be 3 people on it.
There appears to be 3. Okay. Yeah.
They start off, they're whizzing around the track faster than normal. They're beating their old records.
Right. Amazing.
Because the new fella they've got a little bit smaller.
Ah.
Right?
Is he in?
So
Is he in the bobsleigh? Or is he pushing?
He's in it.
Oh, right, okay.
Right?
He's wearing a uniform and a helmet though. We
He's
can't
got
see what he
helmet
looks like.
on,
We
he's
can't
got
see
the
his
kit
face.
on.
Can't see his face.
Nobody knows who he is, but the
course they do.
country's loving it.
Of course they
They're
do.
like, well, it looks like we're going to break all our records, you know. Good. It's good that they found someone new.
Yeah.
Bet the other fella who left is sort of kicking himself, thinking, oh, I could have been part of this. Anyway,
This wasn't a bloke that had very short legs and long arms, was it?
what happened is they're whizzing round the track and what have you,
Faster than ever. Yeah.
faster than ever, and the press are like going, beating all records here. They started taking photographs. Lot of flashing. Lot of flashes from the cameras and stuff.
Right. Of course.
Suddenly, the bobsleigh goes a bit sort of mental and whizzes off the track, right, into like all the tyres and stuff that they have for protective.
Oh, they love tyres, don't they? Bobsleigh members. Some of them you can. Sometimes you can find them swinging in one, or maybe eating a banana.
Ambulance comes rushing over and stuff. The other 2 members are looking pretty nervous for some reason.
Oh, what are they doing?
They're saying, look, don't take the helmet off because, you know, you can do more damage to the
Well,
neck.
don't tell the paramedics how to do it. I mean,
They know their job.
Yeah,
they know
yeah,
their
yeah,
job.
yeah.
So they were
please.
like, just you know, and plus, you know, he came in at last minute to help us out. He doesn't want everyone to know who he is. He's
Yeah.
not after the limelight
yeah.
like some of the members we used to have. But he just
Yeah.
was helping his country out.
Yeah.
Leave the helmet on. Anyway, they get him in the ambulance and stuff. The other 2 are looking a bit worried and what have you. They're gutted. They lost the race.
The little bloke. Is the bloke not saying anything? Is he not?
He's in the ambulance now.
Is he not saying anything though?
Anyway, word got out, right, from one of the ambulance drivers a few weeks down the line, once all the dust had settled on the Olympics and stuff, and light news day and stuff.
Yeah.
It was reported that one of the ambulance drivers said that on that sort of dreadful night, when, you know, the country lost out on a medal in the bobsleigh, he sort of reported that there was a monkey in the back of the ambulance. People were like going, you're joking,
I don't
aren't
remember
you?
this. I don't remember this. at all.
Well, this is it, you see, because they sort of swept it under the carpet a little bit.
right.
They were like, this
Bullshit.
is crazy talk.
Bullshit.
This is
Bullshit
crazy
again.
talk.
Once talk. Absolute shit. Where'd you get this from?
This is crazy talk, right?
It is
But-
crazy talk, and it's from the mouth of Karl Pilkington.
But the weird thing is that backed it up. Following week, there was a story of some people who visited the zoo saw a chimp in a neck brace. And that's this week's Monkey News.
Bollocks.
Well, that's the end of another podcast. Thanks very much from me, Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant,
Goodbye.
and Karl Pilkington.
Right.
And thanks again to those guys at Positive Internet who host this podcast, the world's #1 podcast. We'd also like to congratulate Steve Carell from the American office, who won a Golden Globe.
Yes, congratulations, Steve, and obviously everyone involved with the American Office. And for our American listeners, if you haven't checked out the American Office on NBC, it's dynamite. It really is a cracking show. I don't know if you're a fan of the original, but if you are, or even if you're not, just watch it. It's great. It gets better and better week by week.
It's absolutely brilliant. That's NBC. I think that's Thursday nights, isn't it?
After My Name Is Earl.
That's got to be the first time a Golden Globe has been won by two different people for the same character.
I think you're probably right, mate.
Cheers.
Hey, congratulations again for winning it all those years ago.
Two.
All right.
Two.
I don't need to mention
One,
that.
two.
Don't
Bye.
need to mention that.
Hello and welcome to another Ricky Gervais show with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
The 9th in a series of 12 podcasts we're doing for free.
Absolutely free of charge.
We're getting, we've already done over sort of 2.5 million downloads. We'll probably do 4 million downloads by the end of the series. If I had a quid.
I don't even want to discuss it, Rick.
You are gutted,
I'm
aren't you?
absolutely furious, because I said to you when we studied this, I said, why, you were going, oh, let's give something free back to the fans, and I was saying, it's not worth it, they don't deserve it. But no, you demanded it, and I wanted to pay, I want to charge crazy money for
I've
it.
been a fool. We've had about something like 6,000 emails as well. If we could channel this to good, because you know what I mean, this internet has been set up, billions and billions and billions of dollars go on this cyber highway back and forth, doing good stuff, communicating, sending people into space, commerce, and people, hundreds of thousands of people are sending me pictures of Karl as a monkey.
I know, exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's not what this system was created for.
Thank you for all your emails as well. That cost us as well a little bit, because they're going through the website, which costs us a little bit of money.
But it also costs me my precious time, having to wade through the crap that gets sent to us.
Thanks to Kieran Gabriel from Merseyside, who sent me a picture of Karl as Bruce Willis. It's the effort. We'll put all these up on the website. David Weinstein has started his own T-shirt range, I Could Eat a Knob at Night. And Paul Devon has sent me this caricature of Karl, and it's brilliant. Again, I think they're wasting their energies. It's actually a brilliant painting of a little round, bald-headed Manx, some sort of like freak creature.
Yeah.
Whereas he could have done a beautiful painting. But thanks to all those.
I mean, I have actually waded through the emails, and I obviously, again, like Ricky, I echo the thanks for sending in all the different questions and comments about the show. And there's so many, it's impossible to obviously even reply to them or talk about them, but a couple of that have struck me. Emily from New York has asked Karl this. Karl, if you were on a sinking ship, or you were in a burning building, and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us. I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us.
Yeah.
Who would you save? Would it be Ricky, or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
The girder.
Yeah, he dies, so he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What, because Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're gonna have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's gonna go under and drag you down, and you're gonna die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen.
He won't be around for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds. We'll get him.
Bear in mind this, Karl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind up. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping you out.
Oh, there we go, Karl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Karl. Let's talk about that, Karl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What? What?
The time when we went for a coffee, and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50p change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p, and you decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I wanted to be generous, that's my decision, but you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who
But you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
That did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything, it doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well, listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
You imagine if he would, do you imagine he would ever say that? Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Can we say on the website? Can you just do a little explanation of why on the website? Can they, well, think about it and...
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then sort of, so the conclusion is...
Okay, alright.
Something like that.
Go to rickygervais.com. Well, I've been waiting for this for a week. It's a regular feature now when we read from Carl's diary. Carl decided to keep a diary. He's gone through with it. I can see it there. It's massive. It's a huge desk diary that he has to carry around with him, and the pages are getting full up. You're really keeping to this.
Yeah.
Right, this is extracts from Carl's diary.
Did podcast and went for an Italian with Ricky and Steve. Italian place is good. We've been there a few times. I always have the same thing, spaghetti. Can't remember what everyone else had. Last time we went there, Steve had little octopuses with pasta. You could see that they were octopuses. They hadn't been cut up or anything. My rule is that I only eat stuff that looks nice when it's alive. A cow, a chicken, some fish. An octopus is an odd-looking thing alive. Even worse when it's dead and limp. It looks like it just shouldn't have been sat in the spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ricky drew another picture of my head. We've given a few of them away as prizes, but he draws so many of them that they won't be worth as much anymore. Everyone will eventually have one. Like those pictures of a boy crying that caused houses to burn down in the 1980s.
What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember if you're listening in America, they might not have made it over there.
Is it the sort of like the sugary ones with kids? Like, is it Techikov or something?
It's just some kid. My auntie Nora had one, and it was just like a kid with like a blue jumper on, and it's like a painting, not a photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and he's just crying.
Like a chocolate box. It's really awful, sort of sugary.
And what happened is they found out that a load of houses were being set on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the weird thing was,
oh, it's bollocks.
every house that burnt down had that photo.
Yeah, because every house had that picture in the fucking 70s and 80s. Idiot. It's like, we're linking it to sinks. Every house that's ever burnt down had a sink. You're talking shit again. Carry on.
Wednesday. Saw a homeless bloke. I'm surprised that no companies have thought about sponsoring the homeless. Something like a clothing company. Give them some clothes that have an advert on the back. Everyone's a winner.
Good idea.
Not bad, is it?
Got on the tube to Camden. Read in a free newspaper that hedgehogs could be gone by 2025. I think I've seen more dead hedgehogs than alive ones anyway, so I don't think I'll miss them. Went round to Ricky's house and had a game of pool. It should have been nice and relaxing, but Jane gave me some cake, and Ricky said I can't play pool if my hands are all sticky from cake.
It was the sugar. And it wasn't that either. After he'd finished it, they weren't just sticky. He was licking his fingers, sucking his fingers off, and then was going to pick up pool cues and touch things. And I was thinking, go and wash your hands after licking your hands. You're not a cat.
This turned into an argument when I said I didn't want to wash my hands.
Why didn't he? Disgusting.
He goes for a piss all the time without washing his hands, and then squeezes my head. I know I prefer to have lemon cake crumbs on my head than knob juice. Was going to do a crossword, but I'm tired and have learnt enough today.
What have you learned?
Well, the stuff about hedgehogs and that.
Oh, God.
Was on my way to my mates, and I got on a train. Got close to a station, but realised I needed a wee. Was about to go in a cubicle when a blind man with a dog, who was bumbling his way through the walkway, came around. I said, "Are you after the toilet?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on your right." I shouldn't have let him go first, as he took ages, and it would be my stop soon. The dog waited outside the cubicle. I was going to stroke it, but then I remembered someone telling me that you shouldn't. Don't know why
not?
that is.
Because something to do with the owner should be the only one who sort of deals with that dog, and you shouldn't.
You shouldn't stroke it because you'll cover it in fucking lemon cake.
No, but just because if you stroke it and that, it might like me and want to go off with me, and he'll come out and be lost and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but I just thought...
A few people have sent this in, including Paul the Party Animal Parker. I wonder if anyone else in his school. I mean, for some reason we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think?
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still a party animal.
Do you think? I mean, do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late,
Sure.
and the boss, who's in an overall, go, "Parker, you're late again." He goes, "Yeah." Talks to the hand. Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, "Listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all."
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke goes, "You stupid idiot, you can't work there." He goes, "Chill out, man," and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, you just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. That you take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say, like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself.
But
because
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue and they said, "Here's some faces you can have. Pick which one you want."
Yeah.
Would you be looked upon badly if you go, "Do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face?" Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone.
Yeah, I know, but at some point, well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to.
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What, do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
But where did this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
people? Where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these?
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, "I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. Oh, I don't like that. Oh no."
Can I ask this now? Let's say we passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. It's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this, though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, "Do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet."
This is from Anne-Marie Melvin in Amsterdam. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7 months old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Carl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah. Driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
You can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I mean is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman. You know,
a rumman? Where's that?
No, just like, you know, she liked going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Right, which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
Right? Which was a surprise, because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of
Second
down and what have
Yeah.
you. But suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It what? It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North
stressful.
American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
Chase cars. Sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. but all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least he can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Okay, right. Did
No,
you?
that time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that,
Yeah.
I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below,
Jeez.
and I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons,
Yeah.
isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Wait, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off here. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fellow was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra. Right?
Right.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
Right.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about.
Right, a lot of people are sort of emailing in sort of brainy stuff,
Brilliant.
right? Which, you know, the more the merrier. I'm happy getting all this stuff, and if you know it grabs me eye, I'll run it by you, and you can sort of tell me about it and that. And getting a lot of stuff about philosophy
Oh yeah.
and all that. Descartes, that's another one that's mentioned on an email.
Descartes,
Yeah.
the French philosopher.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Well, he sort of cropped up on an email. Someone said, "What do you think of him?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
He famously he pondered his own existence. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. He was thinking about that. He was thinking, how do I know all this is true, everything around me? And he thought, well, I can see it and I can smell it and I can hear it. And he went, oh yeah, my senses can be fooled. I could be dreaming. And he thought, well, that's true, I could be dreaming. But if I'm dreaming, then at least I'm alive. At least I have some sort of consciousness. So if I'm even thinking about anything, you know, I exist. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum.
But we don't need to know the Latin bit. Why is everyone always going back to Latin? It was ages ago. Why is that language always being... And were Latin people always in a rush? Because they seem to be like words for full sentences. Why couldn't they just take the time and say what they want to say? And it's just like, what was the rush?
To teach Latin.
What about Plato?
Right, Greek.
Right? Now, would you say he's a bright bloke?
Yes, I would. I'd say he's a very, very bright bloke.
Right, let me tell you this. Right? If he's that bright, you know how he got killed?
No.
Got hit on the head by an egg.
Fucking hell! Well, he's not so clever then, is he?
That's what I'm saying.
Boo!
What's the story with the egg?
He was on holiday or something, right? And
He was on holiday.
In Greece, probably.
he was having a walk about, and a bird was flying over his sort of.
This
over the
bird
beach.
was what? A great auk? What size bird killed him with his egg?
It was a big one, yeah.
Was it?
And the way they used to crack
An ostrich on a hang glider.
the eggs open to let the kids out, they used to drop them on rocks.
What bird is this? Dropping its egg to let the kids out! You are a maniac! You are a maniac!
And Plato had a little bald head.
Right.
So from the top, the bird's there looking down, and it goes, oh, there's a little rock, I'll drop the egg. Hit him on the head. Killed him. Now, this is what I was saying before about...
I'm letting too much go now, because I'm so desensitised to his nonsense. I let him go. The bird saw Plato and said, there's a rock down there.
Yeah. Well, if these birds are killing people with bald heads, you've got to be terrified.
So, but listen, this is what I'm saying though, right? Before about knowledge and that, how knowledge is hassle, or success is hassle.
I think that was Newton. Knowledge is hassle.
Now, but why is Plato's intelligence got anything to do with the fact that this bird dropped an egg on his head?
Because he was intelligent, and he's probably earning a nice few quid by giving out whatever messages he gave out.
Yeah.
He could afford to go on holiday to exotic places. If he was working in a factory, he wouldn't have been on this beach with big birds dropping eggs, is what I'm saying. So, in a way, it backfired. His knowledge killed him.
And that, I think, was Kierkegaard. His knowledge killed him.
Where you got this stuff about him being on holiday?
Well, he shouldn't have been on the beach. He was only there having a break or whatever from doing what he does. It wouldn't have happened if he wasn't on holiday.
Again, I can't remember which show this was that we were discussing this, but we talked about well-known phrases and quotes from the past. We talked about Benjamin Franklin. People have this is an email we've had saying, Carl, what do you take by the well-known saying, "A stitch in time saves 9"? A stitch in time saves 9.
Oh, a stitch in time saves 9. Yeah.
See, it's another one that I don't think I've picked up on a lot of these sayings that are being sort of thrown about willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Okay.
Willy-nilly.
No, but I again, it's one of them like last week. I've heard of it, but
what does willy-nilly mean?
Just sort of like throwing it about all over the place.
What do you mean? But what someone said, what does the term willy-nilly mean?
It just sort of means, carefree.
That's right, yeah.
Okay,
So
but what does a stitch in time
So
save
you
9
understood
mean?
willy-nilly, so you used a
Yeah, but it
phrase.
sounds nice,
you used
doesn't
it, you said it willy-nilly, but you sort of got the gist of it. So what does a stitch in time saves 9 mean?
I don't know.
What do you
must
mean you
know.
don't know? Think about it. A stitch in time saves 9.
Is it to do with sewing?
Well, yeah, sort of.
So it's not that clear.
So if you got a jacket,
Yeah.
and the seam starts coming undone, oh, there's a little bit of seam. I'll leave it. Oh, it's getting worse and
Right,
worse. Soon
right.
your sleeve falls off. So you just need 1 stitch there. That'll do it. If you do it now, later you'll need 9 stitches. And that, of course, is an analogy to other things. If you leave something that needs attention or repair, it'll get worse. So do it now. Do it in time.
Yeah, but
They could have said a tile in time saves 9 on your roof. They just used a sewing analogy.
But it depends if you're busy at that point, because if you've got something else that needs doing, that means that isn't being done because you're messing about sorting out a hole in your coat, is what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't always do stuff straight away. So maybe, I don't know if there's a sort of a middle ground where you don't have to do it straight away, but stitching
A stitch sometimes
time,
today.
say in 15 or whatever, meaning you don't have to do it straight away, but just do it before it gets really bad.
Brilliant. Do you think yours is less poetic than a stitch in time saves 9? So yours this is what you wanted to be a quote, right? Well, you could do it now, but if you're doing something else, then, don't do it immediately, but do it soon so it doesn't get really bad. Karl Pilkington.
No, but it's the same. That's the same way I treat most things in life. It's like I never go to the doctors unless it's really
That is sensible.
bad.
That is very good advice.
No.
That's brilliant advice
Well,
for
it is,
anyone
though.
listening. Never go to the doctors.
Unless it's really bad.
But that's why a lot of people, particularly working class people, die because they don't want to bother the doctor, or they're mildly embarrassed, or they don't know symptoms, bad symptoms. Go to the doctor if you're not sure about something. Like you were terrified to go and have your prostate.
Still not doing it.
Why not?
I wish you wouldn't talk about it, because now Suzanne will listen to this and she'll go, "Oh yeah, you haven't been," and start dragging it up again.
But why are you worried about a little a qualified doctor?
I don't know what they're doing up there.
What they
What
just
year
pop
are we in?
they. What are you talking about? They pop their finger up.
That's what I mean, though.
Why?
Well, it's 2006.
Yeah.
Why are they still using the index finger?
What, would you prefer the forefinger or the thumb, would
No.
you?
No, what I mean is, we've got...
Or a thumb on a stick, some kind of thumb on a stick.
Yeah, would you prefer it to
a
be
mechanical thumb,
I
a
was
robot
gonna-
thumb.
Why isn't it just a little camera? Or something that can
They
have,
have
Well, they put the camera up if they initially discover something.
but just put the camera up straight away. If I'm
No,
paying
they
for
don't
the
need
visit.
to. They pop the finger up, feel that the prostate isn't swollen, wiggle it around a little bit up your back passage. What are you worried about?
I don't think they need to do that.
Are you
in this
embarrassed?
day
Are
and
you
age.
embarrassed about being in a room with your trousers around your ankles and little fellas
A
popping
little bit, yeah.
Why?
And the other thing is, it's not just that, is it? So you go in there, they check your heart out and that, which to me is the most important thing, because that's what keeps you going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You've got to go there. You
Yeah.
sat on the bus, stressing out, thinking, oh, in less than half an hour I'm going to have a finger up the arse, right?
What is the problem?
And they go
though?
in, they check your heart, they probably check your testicles and that.
What's up with that? They take your testicles, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
but it's all building, and you've sat there going, oh, soon that'll be happening.
Yeah.
And that's what puts me off.
So if they just came round when you were asleep, Suzanne just let them in and goes, he's over there, right?
Yeah.
And they crept up and went, bang. You go, what are you
prefer
doing?
that?
I just don't understand why they don't teach you how to do it yourself.
How can they?
Wow.
How can they do? Imagine you squatting in a corner with one hand on your bollocks and the other finger up the arse going, it seems to be alright.
Carl, you don't understand the phrase "a stitch in time saves nine." I don't think you should be doing any kind of invasive medical research in your own human body.
But then
Who
if
knows what trouble you're going to cause?
No, but then at least
You would get stuck.
Yeah.
You would get stuck.
Susanna come out, your fist would be up your own arse. Okay, I think it's probably time. Let me just check my watch. Yeah, it's monkey news time.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, you.
Right. Last week we talked about the one who was good at getting up buildings and that for putting out fires and stuff. Ended up working for the fire department.
Yeah, not true, but
Sure. But if the building had good grippage, he was right up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not true, but go on.
So this week anyway, it's more about tall buildings and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was this bloke who was a builder.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you know what builders are like? They sort of move about, don't they, from sort of building to building, just building.
Well, yeah. Well, once they built it, the building's done, and they move on to build some more.
Building to building, just
Where-
building, yeah.
So he goes to his next job and that, right?
Who does, the builder?
The builder.
Yep.
He goes to like the
The
boss,
new building.
the boss of this building who's building it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And he says what unto him?
Do you need anything building?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he says, yeah, there's plenty of work and that going about.
Yep.
He said, we're working on this one here. He said, get going on it. Like, there's your bricks and your cement and stuff. Get on with it.
Yeah.
So they,
Any plans? Just build.
Just start building.
Yeah. Go up.
they're getting on with it and stuff. It's all going well.
Yep.
But he notices that there's someone working high up, right, on the
Okay.
top bit.
Sure.
Because do you know, like, there's girders and stuff on these big
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
And he's still building the bottom bit,
And
which
he's
is
still,
weird.
yeah. Well, that's the way they do it there apparently, just to sort of speed it up, work from top to middle, from top to bottom. if you
Sure.
know what I mean.
That's in imaginary land.
We
So
put
anyway.
the spire on, now we better do the foundations,
Yeah.
and then put some stuff in the middle to keep it up there.
So anyway, he's saying to like the other workers, he's going, who's that up there?
Who's that up
Like,
there?
He's working on his own.
The little fella, was he?
And
The little hairy fella up there.
He's the little hairy fella up there with the top, hard hat.
And the other fellas are going, look, don't ask questions. The boss decides who he takes on. We're happy to be getting paid here.
Don't ask questions! Well, I'll see him when he comes down.
So he said, well, it's pretty impressive, the work rate he's doing, the way he's getting from one girder to the other.
Swinging, is he?
He doesn't seem to be scared of the heights or anything. He said, no, just let him get on with it. We work well as a team. So anyway,
What nonsense is
So-
this?
so-
He believes all this.
Yep.
so he sees the boss and he goes, that fella up there, who's the fella up there? He's pretty good. And he's like, look, just get on with the job. Yeah, I'll pay you. Let's just all get on with our jobs. That. lunchtime comes, they're all sat there, sat on a little wall having the sandwiches. He's thinking he'll come down in a bit. He's just carrying on.
Is he just still going?
Still going on that, right? So the fella says to the boss man, he says, "Isn't that fella up there going to come down and join us for lunch?" He said, "Like I said, mate, don't worry about him, right?" He
said, very secretive. I'm suspicious about this fella. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know why he's working through his lunch. I don't know why he's not scared of heights. And I don't know why he's swinging from girder to girder. It's weird. Go on.
So he said, "Oh, anyway, you've reminded me that he's up there." He said he's doing a lot of riveting and stuff up there. He probably needs some more nuts to...
Right, sure. And what kind of nuts is that? Is that nuts to food, or...?
So he said, "What, nuts?" He said, "Yeah, just, there's a bag full of them there. Just put them on the hook, send them up, and he can get on with his job." So anyway, he picks these nuts up.
Nuts,
right?
yeah.
Just hooks them on. He thinks they're not that heavy, considering, you know, I mean, they're normally pretty heavy, aren't they? Like nuts
big
and
bag
bolts
of nuts,
and stuff.
yeah.
So anyway, he has a little glance in.
Oh, no, what's in there?
Nuts.
What, you mean nuts that you can eat?
Nuts that you can eat.
Oh.
Right? So they send the bag up, and he's thinking, what's all that about? He checks him out, starts to stare, works it out. You can see that he's a little chimp running about. So he goes, "I'm not happy with this."
Why isn't he?
Because he's working for an organisation that's, you know, there's unions for this sort of stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, he's not going, "That's amazing. They've got a chimp riveting this building together."
Yeah.
That's not scary. He's wondering if they're breaking union rules.
So he
You
goes,
don't have to talk.
So he goes and has a word with
he
the boss.
goes to the boss and he goes, "Look, I've worked out what you're playing at here."
Yeah.
He said, "All them out
Is the
there."
boss sitting in a tyre?
He said, "All them lot out there might not be wise to what's going on here." He
Yeah.
said, "But I've clocked it, and you're sending nuts up to it. It's a monkey. It's not on." So he goes, "Look, you know, we just all try to earn a living here." He said, "Don't get involved in it. I'm happy to pay you, but I'm paying him. Don't interfere."
He's paying him.
And he's saying, "Look, I'm just not happy with this. It's not allowed." So the boss was saying, "Well,
We
to be
pay
honest,
peanuts.
mate,"
We get monkeys.
he said, "To be honest, mate, you know, he's a great worker. He's known for doing what he does. He's a good grafter. If one of you's going to go, right, I'm afraid I'll have to let you go because he's been here longer than that."
Yeah.
He was made redundant.
None of
because
that
the monkey-
happened.
He was laid off.
None of that happened.
He's laid off from that, and that's
No.
where that saying about, you know, like there's a lot of tower blocks and that in America. It's like the chimp off the old block is where. So that's monkey news.
Thanks for listening to this podcast.
Who was it hosted by?
It was hosted by a great bunch of guys called Positive Internet. They host the #1 podcast in the world, The Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Goodbye.
and Karl Pilkington. Hello, welcome to the 8th in this series of 12 podcasts, The Ricky Gervais Show, with The Guardian. I'm Ricky Gervais. Hello. With me, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
So, thank you again for all your emails. We're getting thousands. We're up to about 250,000 hits a week now, people listening to this show.
Blimey.
250,000 people bothering to go in and listen to this show.
Nothing else in their lives. Nothing
All around the
better to
world.
do.
It's unbelievable, though. North America, Asia, South America, all over Europe, and thanks to everyone in England as well, where we do it from, in a little room in London. Keep going to rickygervais.com and registering, because so when we finish these 12, we can email you when we come back and start again. We're going to need a little bit of time off to record the second series of extras.
Well, I'll tell you more than that, Rick. You're going to need some time off just to have a little breather, because I know how hard you work.
And you, mate.
Well, thanks, mate, but I mean, I know you blinking work hard.
But Carl's been on holiday again, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah, because, Carl, you don't do anything.
And you have weekends off. You take at least 5 or 6 weeks holiday a year, even though you haven't got a job now. You're meant to be doing this, and yet you still
So
go
your
on
whole
holiday.
life's a holiday, basically.
Yeah, why do you need a holiday? You potter around. Your big day last week was going to the cobblers. So why do you need a break so much this week?
It's just that, you know, it's good for your brain and that, isn't it? It opens it up a bit.
You are not evidence for that.
Where did you go?
Gran Canaria.
For a week?
Yeah.
Just sitting around?
Well, there isn't much else to do at Gran Canaria. I mean, I don't want to go slagging a place off because every time I seem to talk about somewhere, get into trouble for it.
Right.
But it's just like a big rock. It's just volcanic, innit? It's
And
just,
you must have looked like a little barnacle on that.
Have you been there before?
been near it before to another rock, which was just
But
it
what,
was the
you
same
had your
sort of
fingers
thing.
burned, why did you go back?
Because you think, well, they can't have loads of these islands that are the same, like just a big rock with hotels on. They can't get away with it. So you think,
And they
well, the
obviously
next
are
one.
getting away with it. But why do you keep going to these places that are rocks? Why don't you investigate first? Ask your travel agent, is this a giant rock?
Because that's what you do, innit? You go and find out yourself. I mean, when Armstrong went to the moon, what was he expecting up there? That's a fact that it's a big rock, and he still went all that way.
I don't know what that point was.
No,
Fair enough.
so what I'm saying is, though, sometimes...
Tell us about the moon landing. As you started it, what do you know about that? You know, because I mean, so far you've given us a lot of insight into the moon landing. So there was Armstrong.
There was Armstrong and that.
Yeah.
There was fella called Buzz.
Yeah.
And another bloke.
Yeah. Poor bastard.
Yeah, never remembered.
Yeah, go on.
And they went up there, got out. 2 of them did. One of them didn't bother. The one whose name, don't know who he was. Didn't even get out to stretch his legs, right? Went all that way. They had a potter about, had a wander, came back again.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
And in your opinion, pointless?
To me, yeah. But to them, I'm sure they had a good time, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just take the risk, don't you? Go and visit a place, make up your own mind.
And so, what did you make of this place? You enjoy it, Gran Canaria? It was just a big rock, but did you
I bet the moon was better.
Really?
What did you do?
It was just, it's one of them. It's big hotel, which is that's where I made a mistake. It was one of those like big, massive places where there's loads of people, and you go for your dinner.
That describes a hotel.
Yeah.
No,
Sounds like one to me.
You've nailed that.
I've been to a few, that sounds like it.
No, but do you know what I mean though? There's the nice small ones where it's just enough people, but this is like mental, and it was all, it was full of old people really.
Ugh.
I mean that's probably why it's called Gran Canaria, right? Because there's just
Grannies
old people.
everywhere.
Yeah, right. But what I thought I'd start doing is start a diary.
Okay, why?
Just because I sort of had a bit of time on my hands and that. Just thought, write it down, write stuff down.
And do you hope that this one day will become one of the great literary documents like Samuel Pepys' diary?
I haven't heard of that. Is it any good?
You've never heard of Samuel Pepys' diary?
No,
The most famous diary other than probably Anne Frank's.
I've heard of Anne Frank's and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she
Sure.
was still writing it down.
Yeah. Whereas
Thought,
you've
I'm
been to
on
Gran
holiday.
Canaria, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about. Start a diary.
Sure.
You started a diary.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Did you keep it up every day?
Yeah, just,
Oh, can I read it, please?
well, a diary is meant to be sort of...
Please, can I read some out on this podcast? Carl.
Some of it, though, is only relevant to me. It's sort of...
Oh, this is. Please give me it. Oh my God.
I mean, this isn't... I haven't just...
Look how big it is!
It's one of those desk diaries.
It's huge. It's about a foot long, and it's Oh, that is amazing. Imagine if Anne Franks had been like that. As she got out, right, everyone would have heard it clank down on the desk.
Yeah, but my writing's quite big, isn't it?
Oh look, give us that.
Do
Give us that.
you know about joined up writing? Have you
This
heard
is
about
There's
that?
no point.
amazing.
Sometimes you can't read it, can you? So it's
Right,
best
okay.
to look at ancient
look,
times.
oh my God, it starts on the first day. This is wonderful. Going on holiday to Gran Canaria today. Woke up to the news that Tony Banks had died. There was a piece on the news about how everyone was shocked. Got me thinking about an invention that would be good. Right, a watch that counted down your life. If it says you've got 3 days left, go to the doctors. Told Suzanne about invention. She said she wouldn't buy one. But she said that about the iPod.
How would this device work? This watch? I mean, how would you know when you were about to die? Is that a concern? Again, not for you to worry about, presumably the boffins and stuff.
No,
like
all
that.
I was thinking is that Tony Banks fella, he died and everyone was shocked about it. But if you had like a little watch on...
But how does it work? You can't just say, wouldn't it be good? How would this work? Yeah, I imagine you in the patent office going, got an idea. They go, oh, certainly, Mr. Pilkington, what's your idea? Watch that counting down your life. Oh, how does that work? What?
Just wear it, just pop it on your wrist.
No, what do you mean? Just pop it on your wrist. How does it work? Just pop it on your wrist. Brilliant. You're an idiot.
Well, it's interesting that he goes on. The flight to Gran Canaria was a bit bumpy. I thought about the clock that counts down your life again, and I wondered if it would know if you were going to die in a disaster. Now he's querying his own design.
He's wondering if he would know. He's invented this.
And now he's not even sure. A fella on the plane was reading Koi Mag. It was a fishing magazine. I glanced over and noticed he was reading the Pond of the Month article. Don't think they could make it into a weekly magazine. Well, to be fair to you, because I remember seeing a guy on the train once reading Carp Monthly, a magazine dedicated entirely to carp, and it had Carp of the Month. And I just thought, you know, once you're like 3 months in, the editor must be stressing, have we got any more carp? Have we got a carp that's actually done anything?
I reckon if they used the same one twice, there wouldn't be many complaints.
No one would be noticing.
No, that's the carp they used 2 years ago.
There was a really fat bloke on the plane. He was playing on his PSP. While I waited to go to the toilet, I looked at what game he was playing. It was darts. He's that fat and lazy, he can't even face playing a more active game on a games console. Me and Suzanne got off the coach along with a couple of old people. One of them was in a wheelchair. I don't think it was wise of them to come to a volcanic island with a wheelchair. Everywhere's pretty rough, paving and slopey. Guess I'll keep an eye on it as the weeks go on. Day 2 in Gran Canaria.
Brilliant, we're only at day 2.
The hotel's a bit odd. I've never seen as many cross-eyed people in one location.
That's enough, isn't it?
That's amazing!
Well, you may as well let me read on a bit more.
No, this is amazing.
Well, come back to
This
it
is a
later,
brilliant diary. This might be the best diary ever written. Oh.
While sat listening to the Kinks on my iPod, I wondered if everybody thinks in their accent. I know I do. What's this? What are you talking about?
Just that, you know, when I've been sat there lying on the lounger, right, and I was thinking about stuff.
How do you know you think in your accent? Tell me a typical thought.
Because what I mean is, say if I was like, if I saw something, right, do you know how I say, like, oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
No, but
that was
I don't
being
have
said.
to. But when you think, I don't think the sentence is like I'm saying it. It's just a thought. The thought appears. It's conceptual and it's already there. It's not like I go, Rick, what? Just looking at a fellow over there, were you? Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was thinking it looks a bit weird. Oh, so was I. I don't think out whole sentences.
Whereas you have Carl, stop listening to the Kinks for a minute. Look over there. More cross-eyed people.
No, well, that's
Is that how
kind
your
of-
mind works?
In a way, yeah. And
Brilliant.
that's when, because I
That
thought,
explains a lot.
It's great that he has to think about whole sentences.
because I thought, that's weird, isn't it? Like, I didn't think, that's weird, isn't it? And I thought, I actually think in my accent. And then I thought, does Stephen Hawking, does he, when he's doing his maths and that, is he, I don't know where he's from, so I don't know what his accent would be like.
I think he's from Kent or Cambridge or Oxford. Or something like
Right,
that.
so,
So you think he might think in his
voice, in that voice box
computerised
thing.
voice?
Just wondered.
Had lunch inside today due to shite weather. Sat next to an old fella. Old men's ears and noses carry on growing as they get older. Suzanne noticed his fingers were fat too. Maybe they continue to grow. Suzanne didn't laugh when I said her arse had the same problem. Day 3, cloudy start to the day. Had pie and chips in a cafe. Had a bit of an argument with Suzanne because I thought it was daft that we were paying for food when we were on an all-inclusive holiday. Changed my mind when I saw they sold pie though. The cafe was called Tattoos. The fellow who owned it didn't have any tattoos. But we never saw his wife.
Oh, brilliant.
Had a drink in a bar. Everyone sat and watched one of the local cats lick its bollocks.
It's the greatest holiday in the world. That's the entertainment in that town.
Went back to the hotel and had a sleep before tea. I love the fact you're moaning about old people, but you're just as bad.
You've done nothing so far.
He's done nothing, he's got a big hip.
Oh, God.
Woke up to news about ducks being badly treated. There was a really ugly one with bent legs.
I'm gonna die. Why does he write this down? Oh, God. Oh.
There is a fat bloke from Bolton who is in the pool as I write this. He's got a big tattoo on his back, but I can't work out what it is. ... He just got out of the pool and burped. You just felt like you had to keep us abreast of that.
Everything's in the diary. I just seen it get to the point where you're going, breathed in,
Yeah.
breathed out again.
There was a big fat fella in the sea who kept his t-shirt on. If you're big and fat, is there more chance of you getting burnt because there's more of you on show? I asked Suzanne and she said she didn't know in that sort of not listening kind of way. I wanted to hang about to see if the fat bloke was going to get in the kayak, but Suzanne said we had to head back. Just let him wait in to see if he's going to Capsize. We go home today, so we got up early to get the last bit of cloud.
No, it's just that it wasn't. It's not that sunny all the time. I mean, I was sat in weather that if it was like that here, there's no way I'd be sat in the garden. But because you're on holiday, it's like, well, we've got to sit in it. Put your coat on.
So are you going to continue to write this diary? Every single day?
It's amazing. Keep this diary up. It's amazing.
No, I will keep it up, because what I find as well is, I think earlier on, before I went away, I think I did learn something, and because I wrote it down, I remembered it a bit better. So
What was that?
I just was thinking then, I forgot it now, but but I remembered looking back at it and not having to read it all, because I remembered the end of it before I read it, if you know what I mean.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, if you've enjoyed the Diary of Karl Pilkington, more next week, I hope. Another week's worth. That's amazing. I'm going to try and get that published. We'll put the odd page up on the web. Go to rickygervais.com. Don't forget to register there as well, so we can email you and let you know what's happening. Brilliant.
Rick, who hosts this podcast?
The guys at Positive Internet. Why?
Now, I know you're a big fan of those guys.
Yeah, because they're brilliant.
Well, yeah, they are, and they tell you they're working overtime. Because we've had an email from Jake, who's the director at Positive Internet, and apparently he's been in touch with the editor of the Guinness World Records book.
Oh, right.
And he's hoping to see if we can get this podcast in the Guinness World Record breaking section, or the podcast world record breaking section, or whatever they call it. I don't know exactly what record we'd have broken. I assume it's just sheer number of listeners, is it? Or
yeah,
being the number one?
it's the number one podcast, and it's the biggest downloaded show ever at the moment.
Right.
I think that's because people have only had podcasts for a couple of years.
Yes, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when the next issue comes out. I guess it's sort of December time.
I used to get the Guinness Book of Records every year. I love it.
I've never understood why it was such a big seller. I mean, presumably, who's excited to find out whether, I don't know, a man that can balance 3 egg cups on his head has beaten the record?
Well, they're real
year.
records as well, obviously. I used to go straight for that. I really loved the sort of animals, fastest, strongest, all that sort of thing, biggest.
But aren't they the same every year?
Well, no, they do change, and obviously there's new entries to keep it exciting. But what annoys me is that it looks like anyone can get in if you're willing to do something that no one else will bother with.
Yeah.
They did one on Big Brother where it was the stacking sugar cubes, and I was thinking, well, no one's going to bother beating that.
No.
There's people that walk along with a milk bottle on their head. And no one's going, oh, I'm a bit jealous of Bill. Why? He's broken the record. What? For walking along with a milk bottle on his head? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into training tomorrow. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I do like the real ones. There was one in there I got on a couple of years ago, and it was about disasters. And there was one where there was some big ornamental incense burners at this thing in I think Thailand or Korea or somewhere, and they fell over. And they killed 7 of the congregation. And the headline was biggest joss stick disaster. Now again, there's no one trying to beat that. There's no one going, we need 8.
Yeah.
We need 8 people. We're going for it tonight. What do I have to do? You have to stand quite near those big joss sticks. Okay.
And what record am I breaking again?
We'll tell you after. Also, I think a lot of people waste their energy on this because there's one guy in there that can do the 100 metres in 11 seconds running backwards. And I want to say to him, turn round. Because I think you'd be fast forwards.
Yeah,
if you'd have only, from the age of 10, sort of, you might be, one of the fastest runners in the world.
Because you're never going to be considered one of the great athletes for doing it
No
backwards.
one knows about him. That's not going to ever be an Olympic sport, running backwards.
No.
Or, and now the 100 metres. Oh. One of them's putting a milk bottle on his head.
yeah. This is one to watch. There was a guy in there, I've always been fascinated by the guy, he had, the world's longest fingernails. And they were truly extraordinary, and they went out and they started to curl around, obviously, and in the end they almost looked like sort of they're a big spiral of gnarled old fingernail. But I just thought, it just seemed like such a terrible affliction, really, to be walking around, with these giant fingernails. So much you can't do, just missing out on, Jeff, you coming bowling? I can't. Just so many different things that you miss out on. I've never quite understood who's willing to have this eat into their life. It's going to take over their whole life just so they can have their photo in this book. It seems a very bizarre impulse. Carl, have you ever been tempted by any world-breaking attempts? Do you find them fascinating or futile?
I mean, you don't get paid or anything, do you?
No, they do it for the pride.
But say like the fella who can run with a milk bottle, could he get a milk round? And do you know what I mean? I can understand that if you can use the skill,
Yeah.
but like you say, if it's if it's getting in the way of your life and that, then what's the point?
There was a kid at school who said, I'm in the Guinness Book of Records. I went, oh yeah. He said, no, I am. And he brought it in. And now I don't know if this is a valid claim. He claimed to have been in the audience for what, in this particular edition, was labelled, the largest audience ever for a sporting event. Some giant Super Bowl game in America. And he claimed to have been in the audience. Now, do you think he deserves to say he's in the Guinness Book of Records?
Sort of. I think that's a lot. As it was the largest audience ever, I think a lot of people can claim that one. I mean...
If he wanted to get a name check on doing that, he would have been best saying, I was sat in the audience in a bath of beans. Because then that would add to it, and you get a little, they'd have you in the picture, wouldn't they? So...
He's Mr.
Do it
Trick
that
there.
way. Yeah.